Eddie Van Halen here, telling you, keep playing, man. Gotta keep playing. It's the only thing there is. Music, man. Keep playing. All right? I'm gonna come looking for you if you don't.
What is up? What is up? What is up? John, how's it going?
Good. How are you, man?
I'm doing okay. Well, I just lost my voice as we started here. It's always something. It's always something.
Always.
So we had Randy was having some technical difficulties, so we had a little bit of a late start. He should be rebooting and getting here into the green room pretty soon. So we'll see him. We figured we'd go ahead and get started and we could say hello to everybody and get the show started. It is Tuesday, March 11th, 2025, and 9:15 of the PM Eastern Standard Persuasion. So we are just about ready to go. Let's get over here. And first off, we always start off by thanking our channel members. We do have channel membership available on the channel join button over underneath the video today for you. And if you'd like to help us out with channel membership, great way to help support the channel, keep us going, pay for some picks, pay for some strings, and all that kind of good stuff. So we appreciate all of our channel members, old and new. Big join button in the description. There's a link, and just hit that if you'd like to help us out. We appreciate each and every one of you, for sure. Let's get over to the chat as well, and let's get it opened up, and let's see who is here. What do you say, John? What do you say?
Who here?
Let's see. First I see in is Christopher Live Sova. No pick guards on Randy's bench. Good to see you, Mr. Sova. We've got channel member Cucumber CMBR is here. Good to see you hanging out with us. We got channel member Chuck C is here for some gear talk. Right on. Channel member and OU crew member R2, R3 locking that.
Reliably unreliable.
Right, exactly. And lovable for it. So
100%.
welcome in R2. We've got channel member Dan Gorman. Look at there. He's right on time. Tell you what, timing couldn't have been better. Right on.
I did that on purpose.
Yeah, welcome in, Randy. Let's see who else we got. Dan Gorman, we got E. coli is here saying good evening. Good to see you, Earl. Right on. We got Zach Thong is here.
Brother Zach.
Got channel member Hillary is here saying happy Tuesday, y'all. Good to see you, Hillary. Let's see, scrolling on down. We've got Rob Blackmore official is here. Good to see you, sir. Let's see, channel member Steve Resor. That's how I say it. I'm going to keep saying it that way.
Did we
welcome
ever
in,
figure
Steve.
out what the actual right way of saying it is?
I think Ben said it a couple different ways, but I didn't care. I wasn't listening. It's going to be Resor when you come over here. We also have the greasiest of greasy channel members, Greasy Monkey Guitars. Welcome in. Let's see who else do we have? Scrolling on down, we got Dan. We've got the Yostinator is here. Good to see you, sir. He says, what's up? Good to see you. We got channel member Blue Mox saying hello to the crew and the chat. Good to see you, Blue.
Brother Blue.
Let's see who else. Scrolling on down, scrolling. We just said hey to Yost, I think. We've got KXM Rock is here. Good to see you. Always nice to have you hanging with us. Channel member 40 Grit saying, what's up, dudes? 40.
Show last night.
You want to jump in? We had a couple of our regulars that decided not to show up, so you're welcome to jump in, dude. Randy, you can send him a link if you'd like. Let's see. Scrolling on down. We've got channel member Jeff K, the Guitarsenal Arsenal. That's right. Let's see. Good to see you, sir. Cushman NYC channel member is here. Good to see you, Cush.
Brother Cush.
I think we just said hey to Jeff K. We're going to say it again. Scrolling on down. Let's see. Hey, we got Way A Man Joe is here. Good to see you. Thanks for hanging. And I think we are caught up with the chat. So welcome in, everybody.
1,000.
Yeah, we got 43,000 in the chat. I tell you what, Randy being a little late, I was able to watch a little bit more of Rob EVH 5150. He went live at 8. He's got Kurt and what's his name? Chris Carr?
Jimmy Carr.
Jimmy Carr. And they're nerding out on some Van Halen guitars and whatnot. So that was a lot of fun over there. I'd like to have Rob back over here on this channel.
Hell
sometime. Yeah, it'd be a fun time.
Solstice or somebody else?
Yeah. So, well, tonight, what are we doing tonight? We were
to come in here and save the show.
Well,
we were hoping. I'll let Randy tell the story.
we were hoping that my new to me Japanese Charvel will be finished today. Willie didn't get back in town till yesterday, so he hasn't had time to finish it. So we titled it. Well, I didn't title shit. Ryan titled it "What's on Randy's Bench." So I was going to show off another guitar. And then I decided, well, what's on my bench is the next guitar to get a facelift.
Okay.
So I said, we can go through the one that was just on the bench Friday night and the next one in line. And if we want to see the other guitar, I'll grab it too. We got it in an hour.
Cool. Well, so which one are we looking at tonight? What are we going over?
So the next one for the facelift is this guitar. I've played it like 2 or 3 times, maybe. Of course, it's a Charvel.
Oh, imagine that.
Shocking, I know.
Surprise, surprise.
But this is the first Japanese Charvel that I purchased. I stole this guitar.
What year is it?
This is a 20... Is this 11?
He likes 08 to 12, so.
This is an 11.
So there you go.
This is an 11. I couldn't remember if this was a 20 or a 2010 or a 2011, but I stole this off a dude on Facebook. And when I got it, it had the original black pickguard, and it had double cream pickups, the Tone Zone and the Evolution neck, which is what came in these stock. But they weren't double creams, they were all blacks.
Mm-hmm.
And then I decided I wanted something a little different, make it a little more traditional Strat looking, yada yada. So I put the white pickguard in it in my favorite Hum single setup with a push pot.
Mm-hmm.
It's had like 3 different humbuckers in it. Currently, it has an Evolution bridge in it, which I hate because it's really ice picky.
The body wood on that one.
It's alder.
Hang on before you go any further. We've got channel member Guitar Man 45 is here. We've
What's
also
up,
got
Bo?
Scott Brockway has found his way in, and look at here. We have got Martian Murray, a little cha-ching.
Right on.
Martian Murray just became a OU812 channel member. Thank you for the support, Martian Murray. We appreciate it. Right on, man. Thank you. Let's see. There he is with his channel member gear on. Right on. Thank you, Martian Murray.
That's
we
awesome.
got Kurt Rocks is here as well, saying, hey, good to see you. Welcome in.
What's up, dude?
And I think we've got the stragglers that have found their way in. So you stopped at the bodywood. It was alder, you said?
Yeah. And it's had, I've put like 3 different humbuckers in it. The Evolution's not staying. This is a Rocket Pickups stacked noiseless single that doesn't work because the push pot is screwed up. It doesn't work in the up position. So it's a kill switch at this point.
Now, do you have a particular favorite single coil pickup? I've never really been a single coil player, so I don't know a whole lot about any of them.
So if we want to get into single coil pickups, I don't like the typical vintage, hot, real glassy, chimey, high-endy single coils. I hate them. They're ear-piercing when you're playing with gain and on a 500K pot.
Mm-hmm.
So I go for single coils that are, of course, higher output, but they're wound in a way where they're really boomy and low-endy, almost P90-ish. Like the neck pickup that Willie wound that's in my Henrik Donhage Charvel.
The William Defoe?
Yeah. That one's
just easier that way.
True single coil. That one's probably my favorite. And it's basically a clone of the Bare Knuckle Trilogy. I got all this. I'm not paying bare knuckle prices for pickups, so I got all this.
That's the one that I always ask you which one it is because it sounds good.
Yeah. So I got the specs of a bare knuckle trilogy neck
John,
pickup.
Can you turn your Windows volume up? You're kind of low.
Is that better?
A little bit. You're still a little low.
Okay.
So now, when you're using a single coil, I mean, what are you using it for? Because you think single coil, I think Strat, Stevie Ray Vaughan tones, Hendrix tones, maybe Pearl Jam kind of tones. The type of music that you typically play. I mean, where would you use a single coil?
Cleans and solos. Cleans and solos. And that comes from being influenced later on as I got into my Charvel phase by guys like Gary Moore, who would use a Strat for some lead work in the studio. Hell, he even played one live for like 2 years before he switched to Charvels. And then actually Henrik Donhage himself is a hum single guy, and he uses a regular single coil instead of a stacked or a rail. Well, actually, the Area 67 that comes as guitars is stacked, but it's a single coil sounding pickup. But he uses them a lot for his leads, or kind of volume knob rolled back, still a little crunchy stuff. And that's what I like them for. I think when you're playing, especially when you're playing, kind of faster stuff, lead wise, I think a single coil, obviously your pick attack shows through more. And if you can play clean, it really shows how clean you can play with a single coil in the neck. Mine sound terrible.
Well, Malmsteen, all his is single coil work, right?
Right.
With Marshalls on, up to 11, and then a booster in the front, and
Yep.
all the gain, the gain.
More is more.
Right.
So that pickup that Willie wound me is probably my favorite actual single coil. I like the Seymour Duncan the Hot Stack Strat Plus. That's a mouthful. Which it's wound to be a bridge pickup. It's the hottest stack single coil Duncan makes. But I run it in the neck because it's not bright and chimey. It's really warm and P90ish. And then,
KXM Rock says hums are a bit much for a neck position.
well, I run them both, so
Yeah. What's up, Genocide? Welcome in.
what's up, Gurr?
Speaking of what she said.
But DiMarzio, I like the SDS1, which is what Jakey Lee uses in the neck and the middle position. They're a pretty loud, rude pickup. Got a giant ceramic bar magnet on the bottom of them.
So Blue is believing that Malmsteen are humbucking stack singles.
The YJM Duncans are. They're humbuckers, but they're a single coil, voiced to a single coil.
Right.
It's just basically a reverse wound coil on the bottom of it, so they don't have the 60 cycle.
So what is the actual model of this guitar right here? You probably said it. I just missed it.
This is a 2011 Japanese-made Charvel SoCal.
SoCal.
Yeah.
There we go.
SoCal, pick guard, San Dimas, no pick guard.
Gotcha.
That's your main differences.
So, yeah, hardware.
So these came with a Floyd Rose 1000, R3 locking nut, and Grover mini tuners. The previous owner swapped the stock Grovers with locking Grovers. Flip it around and the bar's going to fall out. You can kind of see they've got locks back there. Which I always was like, why did you want locking tuners on a Floyd?
Speed of changing strings.
Until I changed the strings on it the first time. I was like, I can get down with this.
Yes. Yep. And I like the little bit of heft that it adds to the headstock.
Yeah.
It tends to give a little more resonance to a guitar sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. This bridge has been swapped with a German Floyd.
Nice.
The previous owner did, and he put the push-in style arm, so which I've got on a few of them, and you got to watch flipping the guitar because the bar will fall out because I like mine loose.
Right.
Like my bars loose.
Like your women.
He also put a big old fat brass block in there with a trim stopper.
Right.
I don't really know why the trim stopper's there because this bridge is decked. It is
Decked,
flat.
yeah.
It is flat on the body.
Well, a lot of times, guys tend to feel like you put a trim stopper in it, you got another point of contact, and
Yeah.
you get more resonance through a guitar that way, which there could be some truth to that. You know, it's like setting the headstock down on a table. You know, it seems like it increases the resonance of it.
Yeah, I mean, dude, the block is almost hitting the body anyway.
Right.
So you could have, me personally, if I would have done the block and all that, I'd just let it lean back a smidge.
Mm-hmm.
But it's obviously the neck pocket's been shimmed to get the angle so it could be decked.
Yeah. 40 Grit really dislikes the trim stopper. Use a wood block.
Yeah,
There you go. Advice from the pros.
right.
Yeah.
But like I said, when I got it, it had the black stock pick guard where the volume knob's about here, and the pickup selectors down here, like this one I'll show you in a second. The one I played Sunday.
Now, there is a player that has I think it's a Fender signature guitar, and it's got that volume knob way down there. It looks set up just like that, just about. Can't remember what that one's called. Anybody know what I'm talking about in the chat? Let me know.
A Fender guy with the
I
volume
think
knob
it's
way
a
down
Fender.
there.
Yeah. I saw one at Guitar Center the other day, and I played it. Maybe it's a Charvel. I don't know.
Well, the Henrik's got it down there.
Wasn't a Henrik.
That silly guitar Steve brought over has that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's nothing special then. Scott says, I can still change the strings on a Floyd in 15 minutes. Yeah, we could all do that, but is it set up and tuned? And
Yeah, but I can do these in like 5.
right.
Snip, snip, done. Snip, lock, snip, lock, snip, and you just tune it up to.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, the locking. I always thought that too. And then I was like, oh, yeah. It makes it much quicker.
Yep.
Let's see. KXM Rocks is saying to 40, add a slice of wood to the trim block pocket. See, if 40 was on here, he could explain it to you.
Yep.
But yeah.
40, text me if you want a link, bro. I'll send you a link.
Let's see. Dan is a little delirious, but glad he's here. Well, we're glad you're here too,
Dan. Bud.
Yeah.
Always glad that you're here, buddy.
Let's
Is my
see.
voice a little better now?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's good. Yep.
It's working.
Yep.
Okay.
So, let's see. Kurt says, don't forget to yank on them after you get them changed. Yep. It's always good. Stretch them out.
So this guitar,
Or set the strings, whichever your preference
Stretch
of
the
saying.
fucking
so the thing, all right, so about that, this guitar has the strings that John couldn't take out of the package before he threw them away.
Mm-hmm.
This has a set of DR Veritas 9-46s on it. And the way the Veritas work is they're nickel wrap with a coated core. And DR doesn't recommend stretching your strings anyway. They say you not to because most of their strings have a round core instead of a hex core. So if you go to stretch them and then you're supposed to kink them after the tuner, but with a Floyd it doesn't really matter. But if you try to stretch them after you get it to pitch, then you run the possibility of them unwinding off the round core.
Some of the Kurt Manigan strings are like that too.
Right.
Well,
So
with that thought process, though, that means that you can't bend your strings because that's stretching them.
yeah, but you're not, when you're bending a string, you're not pulling it 3 inches off the fretboard.
Who says?
So, but anyway, I put them on this guitar, I don't know, a couple months ago, and was fairly amazed at how well it stayed in tune after locking everything down. And I didn't really have to go through that whole let's stretch the strings process. I mean, it's just locked in. And
Kurt wants to know what gauge you're using.
the Gage, Gage,
The Gage.
pretty much if it's standard tuning or E flat tuning, it's 9-46. And I kind of alternate. I love the D'Addario NYXLs, but I really like these, the DR Dragon Skin, which is their completely coated string. And the DR Veritas, which is the core, the strings where the core's coated, which is it's on this. They're
Right.
they're super loud.
Yeah. And you don't like a really, really bright string.
No.
A lot of folks like the Ernie balls. You get new strings on there and they're really bright. You can't stand that. I remember from a conversation we had.
Scotty, that's me. I'm people. He says people always over tighten the blocks. I'm people. That's
Yep.
me. I'm people. That's
Tighten
why
them suckers until they almost break, or they do break, and then replace it.
Yeah.
I use the titanium blocks. Like this bridge has got the black coated titanium blocks from Adam over at FU Tone.
Yeah, I was picking up a guitar, and one of the things that they do, obviously, at this one particular shop, I won't say where it was.
I know.
They'll go ahead and make sure that it's set up before it goes out the door. And I told them, I said, well, I want the Floyd bar lowered down. And they're like, well, we really can't do that because the headstock might crack. And I said, well, let me have your screwdriver. So they handed me the screwdriver, and I started cranking on down on it. And he goes, stop. I said, dude, I've paid for this guitar. And then I got the Allen key to tighten down the Floyd locking nut, and I was cranking on it, and he goes, no, don't tighten it. I was like, dude, it's my guitar now.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I never could understand how people would tighten it and then just go, and I'm like, locking that
There's
thing
some
down.
shits that need to be
So-
tightened. That's
Yeah,
them.
That's them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I use a T-handled 3mm,
Mm-hmm.
and I tighten it, and when it starts, the handle starts to flex. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tight.
Yeah.
Exactly.
See, me on the other hand, I would be flipping it the other way where I had all that leverage of that other one.
I don't do that.
I do it
use,
until I get a solid wind without it.
Right. Yeah.
I've cracked the steel blocks here. I've cracked one of the nut pads from over tightening. So that's when I think it was saw like Tom Weber, or it might have been Steve Vai's old tech, was talking about using the T handle Allens. And when they start to flex on that, when you're torquing those 3mm nuts that or 3mm
it.
bolts, that's it.
Gotcha.
So
Brian Peterson is here saying, hey,
What's up,
good
dude?
to see you, Brian. Welcome in. That's all right, Kurt. We just messing with you, man.
it's all good, man.
The guy.
The gag, that was the Jimmy reference.
Right. Scott says that just splits your saddles. I don't have any that are split, so
I don't either.
yeah. Let's see.
We gotta not be a mongoloid about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck,
Yeah.
put your weight behind anything, Scott. You're going to drill a hole through it.
Exactly.
Like he said
Yep.
on the torque thing. And it's funny because I've been to, like Steve, he does it, but all his tech shit is like that. And I've been to other techs, and they all use those same kind of T
Yep.
Sigma wads that you got there.
Little purple Loctite. You put Loctite? No, you don't. Get out of here.
Nope. Nope.
Wow.
40 Grit said he talked to Adam today. He's going to start rounding the lock blocks.
Yeah, the new him and I were talking about the other day, the new
Oh, the new
US
Floyd
the new
saddles.
Floyd saddles, the locking blocks, the backs of them are rounded. So
Interesting.
if you've got the square blocks, they won't fit in the
Won't
saddles.
fit.
So, but yeah, this is your bait with a few mods, your standard Japanese SoCal, one piece quarter sawn maple neck. This
Same
one,
shape and everything is
yeah, same shape, compound 12 to 16 inch radius.
Channel member Andy Carson is here saying, Randy's tuning son of a bitch.
Randy!
Welcome in, Andy.
Yeah, quarter sawn maple, 12 to 16 compound radius. These do not have the thumble truss rod. You have to take the neck off if you have to adjust the truss rod. But luckily, these necks right here rarely ever move.
being quarter sawn.
Right.
Being quarter sawn.
Right, they rarely ever move. So, but yeah, these are. Yeah, I've talked about it before. These necks are a little bit thicker than the Mexican Speed C profile, which I actually found measurements on the Speed C from Mexico. It's 0.770 to 0.830.
Jesus Christ.
So you're not Ibanez wizard thin, but you're thin. These are around .790 to about .850.
I don't
Down.
think mine even starts at .830, where that one ends.
Yeah. But they're extremely comfortable. They're the right width. You've got your real estate on both sides of the E. Not like the George Lynch necks, but
Now, are they rolled, the fret
Oh, yeah.
edges?
yeah,
I see.
they're mildly rolled.
Nice.
Now that white 11 San Dimas I got, they're heavily rolled, but it's from being played. So, but yeah, this thing, man, I think it was a case queen. All the dirt on the fretboard I did for about I've had this thing, I think 3 years. And I played it a lot the first year or so, year and a half I had it. Then I started messing with shit. And now I can't get it to sound right, so we're going to go back to the tried and true method.
So what it was, yeah.
Yeah, so this guitar is lined up for a black pickguard, same setup, hum single. And then it's going to get a tone zone and an Air Norton S. I've already got like 3 Air Norton S's left, thanks to Jimmy Bida.
Scott says, I swear you just look for shit to make me look dumb. No, Scott, you just present it to us. So
You do that all by yourself, buddy.
no, we're just messing
No,
with
we're
you, dude.
busting balls.
We're just busting balls. Exactly.
Just imagine if you were Quentin, what we would say to you.
Exactly.
Scott actually says things that make sense. So
He does. He does. Yostinator says the Mexican Charvel necks are pretty stable, though, with those graphite rods.
Right. So the Mexican ones are flats on from 2015 to now. They were identical to these the first 2 years of Mexico production. And then 2015, they went to flats on, 2-piece. So you've got a cap maple board.
It's just like Beetlejuice,
Yep,
Beetlejuice.
there he is.
Freaking shows up just as soon as somebody mentions it. Welcome in, Quentin. Good to see you, man.
What's up, Pops? Even though you don't like me.
Is Rob 5150 still alive?
Probably.
Because I'm bored. I'm gonna go watch that.
Okay, see ya.
I'm just
John and
kidding.
I'll handle it.
Right.
You know,
Be-
Randy, these fucking guitars you keep banging on about, I'm just going to have either try and convince you to sell me one that you've already sorted out. that's perfect,
Buy
or I'll
that
buy one and sell it, or ship it to you. You can fix it and then send it to me.
buy that candy blue one I sent you on Reverb. Y'all don't pay any attention to this. Buy that candy blue Japanese San Dimas on Reverb.
Right?
The dude wants $1,400 for it. You can probably get him to $1,100. Then you've got a good deal. Comes with a hard shell case. Buy it. And if you don't like it, I will buy it from you.
There you go.
For less than what you paid.
Yeah.
Of course.
Minus shipping costs and so
A
forth.
Steep,
Yeah.
steep discount.
Right. So yeah, black. This is getting a black pickguard. It's going to have a zebra, doing zebra tone zone, and then can't decide if I want to do a cream cover or a black cover. Air Norton S in the neck. I may do the black cover with the chrome rails. I've got one that's got chrome rails, and that's what this will be.
Scott said he'd just tell us to F ourselves if treated him like Q. Oh yeah, Q often tells us that, all the time.
Right.
Yeah, so,
I don't blame you, Scott.
but obviously it's all busting balls. Yostinator, good lord, it's Timu Q. Kurt says the nerds shall inherit the earth. That's
you
right.
guys make fun of me, you bastards.
Right on.
So that's the same, like the 6100 frets in it and all that.
Yeah, jumbos.
Chuck C. Did we say hey to Chuck C earlier? Channel member is here. Let's see. He said, I've had 2 USA SoCals and 1 Japan SoCal. The Japan SoCal was better.
Bingo.
So you like a Japan over a US as well?
When it comes to the modern ones, yes. The 08 to 2010 Charvels, what they called the production run that they did in the U.S. are fantastic guitars. You just have to watch the 2008s because something went kind of haywire there on the 08s, and the Floyd is too close to the pickup, the bridge pickup. So you'll have a hell of a time getting your low E to intonate. You'll
And
have
that-
it'll be all the way back against the whale tail.
And that's the 08 US model?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Scott has a question for you. Do you have any of the old Floyd bar assemblies you don't want?
I have one, and it's currently being used.
There you go. Let's see. Dan Gorman, that's right. Got to bust balls. It is imperative for sure.
It's important.
Prerequisite.
Let's see. Chuck C says there is a red Japan SoCal locally here in Fort Worth for $1,500.
It's too much.
Go offer them $1,200. See if they'll take it.
So I'll give you the secret on these. They were $10.99 brand
That's
new.
right, Andy. That's right.
Yep. They were $10.99 brand new with case. And about 3 years ago, somebody bumped their head and decided to start trying to sell them for $2,000 or more. And people also bumped their heads and started buying them for that. So,
Well, 2020, there was the big guitar shortage, and anything that, even a Glary, you paying $1,000 for a
Well,
Glary.
it makes sense too, because all the guys that started guitar playing way back when, and then they quit, got a job where they make lots and lots of money. Oh, Charvel's the best. $2,000, sure, I'll buy that.
Yeah.
well, that's kind of when the Fender Mexico QC hit and miss thing really started. And it kind of got out on like the JCF forum and the Charvel groups on Facebook that, hey, buy these. These are, if you have Mexican Charvels, I mean, I don't mean any offense that they're good guitars for the money, but some of them come out of the factory fairly screwed up.
Right. And I think it's the same factory that the Wolfgang specials were coming out of.
It's the same
so,
factory
yeah.
that the Wolfgang specials, the Stripe series guitars, and all that's come out of.
So,
But
got to be careful. I was talking with 40 Grit last night. I was over on his channel. I don't know if any of you guys caught that.
no, I didn't know.
But we were talking about, the trust of having a guitar ordered online and shipped is just non-existent with us. It's like you got to put your hands on it.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm fairly lucky in that, and John may be as well. If you're going for something like one of these where, they're 15 or so years old, I've got a guy that worked at Charvel in the heyday that if it's broke, he can handle it.
Yeah.
Right.
John's got Steve right down the road, and
Well, the other thing is too with that particular, because you've sorted out the right years and all, where to buy, like Japan for this, and so what you're working with, it's on a continuum. It's going to be good
Right.
no matter what,
right.
unless the neck's fucked or something, right?
So Scott wants to trade you 2 newer ones for the older Floyd setup.
I don't have the soundbite, but how about no?
Kurt says he has 7 guitars and don't deserve any of them. Yes, you do. You deserve every
There's
single
all
one
of them.
Well, the problem is, Kurt, you have an odd number. You need to buy 3 more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then if you had 10, you might as well have a dozen.
Well, see, that's
Right.
the
If you had a
thing.
dozen, you might as well go for 20.
The perfect amount of guitars is number of existing guitars plus 1. That's always the equation. Always. And sometimes plus 2, so.
You never know. Have
You
you
never
ever
know.
double banged
Right.
Ryan?
I'm trying to
Walked out with
think.
2?
I don't think I have ever done a twofer.
That's your next goal.
John has thrown down the gauntlet for me.
Right?
Challenge accepted.
I did my first 2 for at 15.
Right? Let's see. What else going on in the chat? Yostinator, all of my Mexi, Charvel, Jackson, EVH Fender are ace. Yeah, you can get some good ones, man. You can get some good ones.
Yeah, there's some
Just-
good ones and there's some shit ones.
Sometimes you have to, sort through the shit ones first.
Well, it's kind of like you and 40 were talking about. I'm not one of those people that buy a brand new guitar and don't, I expect to have
not
to set
do
it up.
anything to it, yeah.
I expect to have to at least set it up to how I like my guitars to play. So anything kind of in like normal setup terms, like adjusting the action or maybe, if buying offline, how long did that guitar sit in the warehouse?
Yep.
We all really know how these online stores 55-point inspection or whatever
Yeah,
works.
it's like, yep, that's a guitar. That's the 55-point inspection.
It plays.
Yep.
So, and then where do you live and where did the guitar ship out of? What's if you say Sweetwater, what's the weather in Indiana compared to down here in Georgia? I guarantee you it's more humid down here. And after it sits in a UPS or FedEx hub for 3 days and gets lost on a truck for another 3 days.
And what time of the year did it get shipped? Was
Right.
it cold outside or was it hot? You know,
Right.
100 degrees in the back of a truck all day.
Exactly.
Yostinator says, I wish Fender would start producing neck jack. What's that?
Why did it cut off?
I don't know.
Neck through Jackson's in Mexico.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, I think
there it
Jackson's do those and they've got the USA series, like the Virtuosos, the Soloists or whatever, and then I think they do the other ones in Indonesia. The Pro line and all that. Maybe some in China.
Wall of Cries, welcome in. Is he over there on the couch?
No.
No. It says, so going to yesterday question, what is your tone of wood? Choice of tone wood.
Okay.
And when he says yesterday's question, that was a question that 40 had asked me over
Right.
on his show.
If you had watched my show with 40 when I was on there, I answered that question. But no, I really have two, and it's alder
And swamp ash.
and swamp ash.
See,
I
you
love
you gotta
swamp
know the
ash.
show. You gotta know the show.
Not swamp ass, swamp ash. Won't do
You
it.
have that complimentary for free.
Right.
Right.
Starting about the second week of May.
So Scott says, same. I expect I have to do work on any guitar, new or used.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, and there's some, you know, I get that. But if I go in and I pick one up off the shelf and I'm like, all the razor blades are sticking out of the neck, I'm just, nope. You know, no thank you.
Yep.
Let's
And
see.
Like 40 Grit was saying last night about string alignment and neck angle.
Mm-hmm.
The only real exception to that is how bad did it get beat around during shipping.
Mm-hmm.
But like he used that 83 Kramer Beretta reissue as his example, and he did a video on it. The the string alignment on that being off was not a shipping thing. It was sent out that way. And if you really wanted to correct it to where it should be, then your fret marker dots aren't going to line up in between the D and G like they're supposed to.
But who's to say that that's not accurate to what that guitar was?
I think he would know.
No, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. You know, maybe the manufacturer says, well, this is exactly what it was when we gave one to Ed. It was all screwed up, so we're going to do the same thing.
Right.
You know?
Those were called a night swan.
Right.
They went,
Brian says, yeah, I got a 21 EVH 5150 series from Mexico. Fret ends not trimmed, got through Sweetwater. They passed it off to me. Not cool. Hey, look at here. Channel member and OU crew member Jimmy Biter is in the chat. Saying, what's up? Good to see you, Jimmy. Scott says
from
the
the
Ghost
cellar for a
Horse I bought, the frets weren't even level. I still have to do work on that. Blue Mox is chiming in. Yep, my EVH White Relic was mild fret sprouted when it arrived. 3 weeks later, it was perfect. Right on.
my black one's mildly fret sprouted too.
40 Grit says the string alignment and neck angle should be addressed. Just my opinion. Floyd should be sitting right. Scott agrees with Alder. He says that's the best. Let's see what else is going on. Can't Drive 55 is here saying, good evening, ladies and germs. Good to see you.
Good evening.
And I think we are caught up with the chat. So what else you got on that guitar there?
So this is the 2011 Japanese SoCal I picked up over the summer off of the Reverb. I got a good deal on it. This guitar has also been played quite a bit. Not as much as that San Dimas I just got, but it came in the factory configuration minus the pickups, white guitar, black pickguard, black hardware, yada yada. And they, like I said, they came with Tone Zone and Evolution neck, and the guy had put a boring Duncan 59 JB set in it, which actually really didn't sound good. I don't like the 59 anyway, but the JB didn't really sound good in this guitar. So it's went through a couple pickup swaps, and Friday night I decided that I was just gonna do what I know is tried and true. Tone Zone, Air Norton S. So I ordered the cream black pickguard right when I think the same day I bought the guitar. So it's been on there since like 2 days after I got it. But
Is there such thing if you're going to do a middle pickup? Would you still do a Air Norton S in the middle as well?
I mean,
Or
they've got other options.
Yeah.
They've got other options. You could put something a little bit less output, like a cruiser or
I like those cruisers.
a chopper or something like that in there, or the Satch
So-
track or whatever.
So say a person was thinking of modifying their Black Relic EVH.
I don't know anybody that's done that.
Yeah, I
An
don't know.
example.
You know, and they wanted to do a humbucker and 2 single coils on it. what would be good recommendation?
Or are you wanting singles that sound like singles or rail hums like the Air Norton S?
I don't know.
Are you wanting the single coil sound or are you wanting a fat humbucker sound?
Well, it'll have a fat humbucker in the bridge, so I would think just regular or single coil in the neck and middle. Of course, you said you don't like that kind of chimey tone.
Well, no, I go for, if I use a regular single coil sounding single,
Say
I
you
go
wanted
for
to
bassier ones.
say you wanted to do a cross between a guitar that you could play Pink Floyd and U2 with.
Well, I would look at,
Telly, be done with it.
A Tilly.
well, I'm pretty keen on DiMarzio's, but I'm also, when it comes to putting single coils in the neck, I like to put bridge singles in the neck position.
Okay.
A little more output.
So therefore, that you put a 1/4 pounder in it.
The Henrik used to have a 1/4 pound in the neck.
Yeah.
It sounded really good. It just
Yeah.
had a hell of a lot of 60 cycle hum.
Okay. Yeah. I guess that would be the case. Let's see. Let's get over here back to the chat. Let's see. Yostinator says some good taste with those appointments, Randy. Right
Yeah,
on.
I try.
We got channel member Gene Spliced is here. I tell you what, we do these talking shows. We got 64,000 that are watching. So
Right
maybe
on.
we
Suck on
should
that, Rob.
we should stop playing guitar and just talk all the time, right? He says, don't be a and buy a set of $25 Amazon diamond files and fix those fret ends. Oh, he's calling us out. Or I could just put it back on the rack and buy another one that doesn't have that problem.
That's right.
I do a lot of my own work, setup wise and swapping parts and all that stuff. When
What's
it
up,
comes to-
Wayne McConnell? Good to see you, man.
When it comes to fret work, I don't have any of the tools to do it. So I just, hey, Willie, man, knock this out for me.
Yeah. Yostinator is recommending a Fender Fat 50s in the neck and middle. Let's see. Hey, Daya Mendez is here. Says Randy knows his guitars.
I know Charvel's pretty well.
William De Silva.
ESPs.
Good to see you, man. Just received my Wiggins HSS set today. Dude's a NASA scientist making pickups. They're killer.
You could always go EMG if you want a HSS setup.
Well, yeah. I've already got the EMG, the Gilmore set in the Strat.
Are those S or SAs?
I think they're SAs.
You do the S. I think the S are a little bit fatter
Well,
sounding.
I was really looking at just an overall simple solution would be to get the Lukather EMG set. Humbucker single.
Or you could get the Lukather DiMarzio's, but they don't sing. I don't think there's a Lukather single with DiMarzio. I know there's the transition humbuckers.
The only thing that's stopping me right now from getting that is I don't think that I want to fool with dremeling out for the Floyd on the pick guard. But
Okay, what do you mean drilling out for the Floyd on the pick guard?
because it's set up for a Floyd, or not a Floyd, but a standard Fender spacing.
Well, that's
So you-
that's easy solution, Ryan.
Yes, I know it is, but I don't want to fool with it.
Just get a Charvel pick guard from Paradox Guitar Supply that's hum single, because they make them for the newer Mexican Charvels. They're the same. They're Charvel and EVH are both 2 1/4 pocket. So if you got the EMG pick guard, you're going to have to not only take your Dremel down here, but you're going to have to do it up here.
Right.
because it's a Strat. They're made for a Strat pocket, which is 2 3/16. The only difference between the Charvel heels and the EVH is the Charvel heels are rounded Strat heels, and the EVH are elongated, squared Telly heels. So that was the only thing I had to do to my Relic EVH was I had to, where it's rounded, for the pick guards rounded for the neck pocket, I had to square it so it would slide in.
Gotcha.
And it took 30 seconds.
Well, it sounds like the easiest thing for me to do then would be to take the guitar and bring it over to you and just drop it off. So here you go.
There you
Let's see what else is going on. Scott says, Randy, what's your number one?
go. My number one?
His Les Paul that he just sold.
No, that's gone. That was like my number 30.
Right.
That guitar sounded great.
You loved that guitar when you first got it.
Sure, I was on my Les Paul kick.
You were in your honeymoon phase with it. Or were you just trying to convince yourself that you were in love with it?
I think I was in the honeymoon phase with it for a long time, especially after I had Willie wind those pickups for it.
Mm-hmm.
But and that guitar sounds so great in a whole step down, and that's just where it lived. It became that D drop C guitar, but switching back and forth between it and after playing one of these is like, foreign object.
Right.
I mean, they don't sit the same on your body. The neck angle's completely different. Obviously, the necks on these are wider.
Yeah.
So
Just wasn't your animal.
yeah, dude. I mean, I grew up. I learned to play on a Strat-shaped object. Actually, a Strat, a Mexican Strat, and went from that to ESPs. I had a brief stint with PRS, very brief.
Day was just gifted a Jimi Hendrix sweater from the Are You Experienced album by her daughter. Right on. Cool.
Scotty wants to
stuff.
know my number one. All right, hang on. I'll grab my number one for you.
Let's see. 40 Grit. Randy, you need to try the Performance PG-10 worn neck pickup. I think he can still hear us. Let's see. Kurt says, what do you guys think about Axe Effects? I guess he laid his headphones down. Well, John would be the one that would answer the Axe Effects. He's got the FM3. Yep, cracker.
Maybe I should have muted my microphone.
Yeah, it would have helped. We were echoing a little bit. It's all good.
You didn't hear me fart, did you?
No. 40 Grit was saying that you need to try Performance PG-10, the Warren's neck pickup.
They're hard to
Martini.
get, man. I've looked around at the performance stuff. They're kind of hard to find. So Scotty wanted to see what my number one is. It's this.
Oops. There we go.
Surprise, surprise.
It's a Charvel.
This one, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. It says made in USA. It's blurry for y'all.
Mm-hmm.
This is my favorite guitar. And it's currently living in the drop C realm as we speak for the time being. But this is a 2010 wild card number 3.
Mm-hmm.
So of the 08 to 2010 USA production runs, they did 8 batches for every, 8 batches from 08 to 10 with different colors and whatnot. And they had, I guess, 3 wild cards out of the USA ones, and the rest were the other 5 were the Japanese wild cards. This is the last wild card they did of the USA batches, and they only made 100 of them. I mean, it's it is what it is. It's a one-trick pony. It is an alder body with one humbucker, a volume knob, and a top mount Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
The same quarter sawn one-piece maple neck, Grover mini tuners, and this guitar is just it's got that mojo.
It's just a rock and roll machine.
It's light, the neck's perfect, and no matter what pickup it has in it, it sounds phenomenal. Which right now this is a DiMarzio Super 3, which I love it, but playing it through this rig, it's super bassy, so I have to cut the mid and the bass back to play with it.
Have you
this
had
Synergy rig.
Have you had a tone zone in that guitar
I have.
before?
That was the second pickup in. They came stock with the JB, and I swapped the JB for a tone zone, and the tone zone was in there for the longest. And then it became my pickup swap guitar because it's, I mean, dude, it's one knob. It's stupid. It's stupid easy to swap pickups in.
Right.
So it's had the JB. It had a tone zone in it for about a year. And I'm like, well, that guitar will just be the easiest one to switch pickups in. So after the tone zone, it had the Warren DeMartini, the RTM, the Kramer Eruption. Had a DiMarzio Dominion in it, which is basically a Super 3 with a regular size ceramic magnet. I don't know if you can see how close that pickup is to the strings. It's fairly close. And it's direct mounted. There's no foam underneath this pickup, and it's like 3/32 from the strings.
Right. Now, I wasn't aware that you had tried one of those Kramer Eruption pickups. That's supposed to be like their
PV
copy
Wolfgang
of a
pickup.
Wolfgang. Yeah. How was it?
It don't sound like the PV Wolfgang pickup. It does, but it doesn't. There's something in, you know how like there's certain frequencies that like rattle your brain and can make you sick to your stomach.
Yep.
That's what that pickup did for me in this guitar.
It's funny that you mention that because I've played a lot of different amps and all this over the years, and my buddy bought a Splon Quick Rod. And he brought it over here, and we played it for several hours. And I started getting like a pain in my forehead right here. And I mentioned that to him, and he goes, "No way." He's like, "I've been having a headache there too." It was something with the frequencies of that amp that was just like piercing.
Yep.
Really weird.
But yeah, so that pickup didn't last but like a week, and it's like it's gone. And then I put a DiMarzio Dominion in it, and then I put the Super 3 in it. And the Super 3's been in it for probably a year and a half. And it's going to get swapped back for a tone zone so I can play it more on the show. This was the guitar I played for the longest, played all the Alice in Chains covers on. But this is my all-time favorite guitar. If you want one, there is one currently on eBay for $2,500. And just for reference, I bought this. This is how I met Willie. Is when I bought this guitar, the shop that he does work for, I went in there to get some strings or something and saw it hanging on the wall at the back of the store. And I went over and checked it out. And the price tag on it was $650.
No way.
So I walked over to my buddy John, who owns the store. I said, "Hey, man, what's the deal with that Charvel?" He's like, "Oh, it's a guy. He's gotten sick, and he's starting to sell a little bit of his gear off, because he's got just so much gear. And I'm just doing it on consignment for him." I said, "And all he wants for that $650?" He's like, "Yeah, that's all he wants." I said, "Okay, well, here's $200.
I'll be back.
I'll be back at, whatever. When I get off work tomorrow, I'll be back with the rest of the cash." And he's like, "Well, if you're serious about coming back and getting it, I'll hold it back in my office. As I'll be here, whatever time, 5:15 or whatever, cash in hand." So I walked in there the next day, cash in hand, no tax. Thank you very much.
Bye. Got a killer deal.
Yep.
Wall of Cries. Rewind a little bit. It says, "What about strings?"
Yeah, you missed that, bud.
Yep.
We already been
Yeah.
there.
Dahlia wants to know, do you jam like in events or studios?
This one right here,
Yeah.
I used to.
Yeah.
I spent probably the majority of my 20s playing in different bands, and I was in a what do you want to call it, like a corporate yuppie rock deal where we play in weddings and
Right.
corporate parties and all that crap.
So CMBR, you can probably ask his buddy Willie for a Randy set. He can wind you some.
There's not a set per se, but there is a bridge pickup that we've been working on, kind of tweaked around.
Where was the place you said for the pick guards?
It's a store on Reverb. They're in Florida. It's called Paradox, Paradox Guitar Supply.
Paradox.
Yep.
Ted is here. Good to see
What's
you.
up, Ted?
There's Mikey Mojo, channel member. Good to see you, Mikey. Rob must be done. All these guys filing over from Rob's show, I think. Gene Splice says, where I live, there's seasonal 100-degree temperature swings and winters that are drier than Death Valley. So lots of guitar maintenance required. I bet. Just keep them in a conditioned room best you can, I would assume. Let's see. William says, I'm not a big Les Paul guy either, though I do have one that I'll never get rid of. And for the longest time, I wasn't either, but I started finding these ones that were excellent players.
Everything's for sale for the right price, except for this.
Right? Let's see. Yostinator says, say it again, Gear Talk episodes are his favorite. Right on.
We can quit playing now.
Yeah. Man, what a relief that would be. Let's see. 40 Grits digging the guitar. Nice guitar, the wild card.
Yeah, man, I love this thing.
Scott wants to hear it.
We can do that, but it's going to be super low indie because I'm dialed in for a tone zone.
Jackson reverse headstock Strat has dime buckers in it. Wow. Chuck C had a wild card 6 Dream Sickle Orange.
Yep, that was
Cool.
a Japanese one.
Todd 0864 saying good evening. Good to see you, Todd. Yostinator has a question for you, Randy. Have you ever noticed that all of the newer Charvels that have roasted necks have a wonky angle on the headstock logos?
Do you want to know why that is? I bet you do. So the way those decals are applied, basically all the necks they're on a conveyor. And there's somebody standing there and they line them up in the conveyor and they go through and they line the necks. Well, you get the one, get the guy that's just come back from his smoke break that just sets it on there. So the actual neck goes through the stamper at an angle. And that's why the logos end up off. So, which technically, this logo, it whacks your microphone. See how it follows the headstock. If you look at any of the new ones, they're supposed to be straight and not at the angle with the headstock. Yep. So when they screw them up, they look like this.
Todd wants to know if you've ever used the Saturate.
I have not. That's a Jimmy question.
Jimmy has used those, I'm sure. Let's see. Oh, he's still tuning. Let's see. Zach Thong says some cool guitars, Randy. And Yostinator's thanking you for the answer. Right on. Let's see. 40 Grit said earlier he was not a fan of the Eruption.
No.
We had a question earlier for John. I think it was Kurt Rocks. He was asking what you think of the fractal stuff.
It's really good as far as the effects go. They're outstanding.
Yeah. We did a Guitarsenal on the FM3. John walked through and we made a preset during that show. So you might could find that episode and watch that one. Get a lot of questions answered on that one. Nelson Rodriguez, alive and well, says, what's happening, dudes? Man, we are just chilling, nerding
alive
out.
and well, we see.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome in, Nelson.
Awesome.
Let's see. Mike says,